This is the story of Ada Lovelace. Baron expected a generous boy, but was disappointed that his wife gave birth to a girl. He gave her the name August after his half-sister, but usually called her Addie. On January 16, 1816, Annabelle was given orders to leave their home at Kirby, Maryland, taking 1-month-old Abby with her, but did require that she give reports on Addie's well-being. On April 21st, Baron signed the deed of separation, although very reluctantly, and left England for good a few days later. Aside from a criminal support, Abigail continually made allegations about Baron's immoral belief throughout her life. This set of events made Addie famous in Victorian society. Baron didn't have a relationship with his daughter, nor did he ever see her. He died in 1824 when she was 8, her mother being the only parental figure in her life. Addie did not see any portraits of her father until her 12th birthday. Her mother became Baroness Wentworth in her own right in 1856. Annabelle did not have a very close relationship with young Addie, and often left her in the care of her own mother, Judith Hahn, Lady Melbanks, who doted on her grandchild. However, because of society attitude of the time, Annabelle had to present herself as a loving mother to the rest of society. This included writing envious letters to Lady Melbanks of Addie's welfare, which a cover note say to retain the letter in case she had to use them to show material concern. In her teenage years, several of her mother's closest friends watched Addie of any signs of moral division. Addie depicted this observers, the fairies, and later complained they invented stories about her. Addie was often ill, beginning in early childhood. At age 8, she experienced headaches that obscured her vision. In June 1829, she was paralyzed after a bout of measles. She was subject to continuous bed rest for nearly a year, which may have extended her period of disable. By 1831, she was able to walk with crutches. Despite her illness, Addie developed her mathematical and technology skills. At age 12, this future Lady Fairy described she wanted to fly. Addie went about the project thoughtfully with imagination and passion. Her first step in February of 1828 was to construct wings. She experimented different materials and sizes. She considered various materials of wings, paper, oil slicks, wire, and feathers. She estimated the anatomy of birds to determine the right proportion between the wings and the body. She decided to write a book, Wingology, illustrating with plates some of her findings. She decided what equipment she would need, for example, a campus to cut across the country by the most direct road, so that she could commute mountains, rivers, and villages. Her final step was to instruct STEM with the art of flying. In early 1833, Addie had an affair with a tutor, and after caught, she tried to elope with him. The tutor's relatives resented her and contacted her mother. Annabelle and her friends covered the incident up to prevent a public scandal. Ada never met her young half-sister, Allegra, the daughter of Lord Baron and Clare Clareman. Allegra died in 1822 at the age of 5. Ida had some contact with Elizabeth, the daughter of Baron's half-sister Augusta, who proposed adopting Ida as much as possible with when introduced at court. Lovelace became close friends with her tutor Maid Somerville, which introduced her to Charles Babbage in 1833. She had a strong respect and affection for Somerville, and the two of them corresponded for many years. She was present at court at the age of 17 and became a popular belle of the season, in part because of her brilliant mind. By 1834, Ada became a regular at court and started appearing in various events. She danced often and was able to charm many people, and was described by many people as being dainty. Although John Hubhouse, Baron's friend, described her as a huge or large, coarse-skinned young woman, but with something of a friend feature, particularly the mouth. This description followed their meeting in February 24, 1834, in which Addie made it clear to Hubhouse that she did not like him, particularly because of the influence of her mom, which later led her to dislike all of her father's friends. This first impression was not too long, as they later became friends. On January 8, 1835, she married William VIII Baron King, becoming Lady King. Their residence was Ockham Parks, a huge estate in Surrey, along with another estate in Loch Sheridan in Ross-shire, and a house in London. They spent their honeymoon at Wealthy Manor in Ashley Moor, near Porlock Weir, Somerset. The manor has been built as a hunting lodge in 1799 and was improved by King in preparation of their honeymoon. It later became their summer retreat and was further improved during this time. They had 3 kids: Baron, born in May 12, 1836, Annie, called Annabelle, born in September 22, 1837, and Ralph Gordon, born in July 2, 1839. Immediately after the birth of Annabelle, Lady King experienced a tedious and suffered illness which took months to cure. Addie was a descendant of the ascended Baron Lovelace, and in 1838 her husband was made Earl of Lovelace and Viscount Ockham, meaning Addie became Countess of Lovelace. In 1843 through 44, Addie's mother assigned William Benjamin Carpenter to teach Addie's children and to act as a moral instructor for Addie. He quickly fell for her and encouraged her to embrace any flustered affections, claiming that his marriage meant he never act in a unbecoming manner. When it became clear that Carpenter was trying to part an affair, Addie cut it off. In 1841, Lovelace and Mandara were told by Addie's mother that her father was also Mandara's father. On February 27, 1841, Addie wrote to her mother, "I am not in the least astonished. In fact, you mentioned merely confirm what I have for years and years felt scarce a doubt about, but should have considered it most improper for me to hint to you that I in any way suspected." She did not blame the incestuary relationship on Baron, but instead blamed August. "I fear that she is more inherently wicked than he ever was." In the 1840s, Addie flirted with scandals. First, from a relieved relationship with a man who was not her husband, which led to rumors of affairs. And secondly, her love of gambling. The gambling led her to her forming a connection with male friends, and in an adventurous attempt in 1851 to create a mathematical model for successful large bets. This went disastrously wrong, leaving her thousands of pounds in debt in the Connect, forcing her to amend it all to her husband. She had a shadowy relationship with Andrew Cross's son John from 1844 onwards. John Cross destroyed most of their correspondence after her death as a part of a legal agreement. She bequeathed him to only Hollis of father has personally left her to. During her final illness, she would panic and at the idea of the younger Cross being kept from visiting her. Throughout the illness, she continued her education. Her mother's obsession with rooting out any of the incident of which she accused Barrington was one of the reasons that Addie was told mathematics from an early age. She was privately schooled in mathematics and science by William Frent, William King, and May Somerville, the noted researcher and scientific author of 19th century. One of her later tutors was the mathematic and logigant Auguste de Mergent. From 1832, when she was 17, her mathematic abilities began emerging, and her interest in mathematics dominated the majority of her adult life. In a letter to Lady Barrington, De Morgan suggested that her daughter's skills in mathematics could lead her to become an original mathematical investigator, perhaps of first-rate eminence. Lovelace often questioned basic assumptions by integration poetry and science, which studies differential calculus. She wrote to D. Morgan. I made remarks that the cultural transformation many formulae can undergo the unsuspected and into a beginner apparently impossible, indicating of forms exceedingly dissimilar at the first sight. Is I think one of the chief defenses in the early point of mathematical studies. I am often reminded of current gratis and fairies one reads of, who are at one's elbow in one shape now, and the next minute in a form more dissimilar. Lovelace believed that iteration and imagination were critical to effectively accepting mathematical and scientific concepts. She valued metaphysics as much as mathematical, viewing both as tools for exploring the unseen world around us. Lovelace died at age 36, the same age as her father, from urinary cancer, perhaps exacerbated by bloodletting by her physicalness. The illness lasted several months, in which time Abigail came told comment over whom Abby saw, and included all of her friends and confidants. Under her mother's influence, she had religious transformation and was coaxed into repenting of her previous conduct, and made Annabelle her escorter. She lost contact with her husband after she confessed something to him on August 30th, which caused him to abandon her bedside. What she told him is unknown. She was blamed at her request. Next to her father at the Church of Mary Magdalene in Hashnell, Nottinghamshire. This is a story of a woman who pretty much did a lot of mathematical and scientific type research and developed more things about computers in her early years as a lot of people do in their later years. Have a good day.